Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be reviewing the movie The Bad Guys. Now, I can't remember the exact release date on this movie, but it's been out for a while. I know that. I'm kind of interested to see the release date. I'm just so far behind on my stuff that I'm going back and actually watching and reviewing the movies that I've meant to review and missed. That's why I'm putting out older content right now on my channel. So by the time this video comes out, that statement might be a little irrelevant, but I always like to start out my videos with a little bit of just random banter, I guess. Even if it's just for myself sometimes. When was the release date on it? Yeah, April 22nd. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind because we're going into, it'll be August by the time I get these reviews out, but that's okay. It happens. Sometimes stuff just happens. So, let's go back to IMDb here. And so this movie was an animated one by, I think, DreamWorks Studios, if I'm not mistaken. So not owned by, I think this is the last honestly animated studio that isn't owned by, oh no, Universal Pictures. I don't think they're owned by Disney, though. Are they? No, I don't think so. But anyway, this one kind of grabbed my attention because it was more of a, I wouldn't even really say this was a kid's film, and they did it was more of an adult kind of, an animation geared more towards adults, which I don't think is done too often. But, I mean, I guess kids could probably still go see it, and it wouldn't be too bad for kids, but yeah, I felt like this was kind of, more geared towards the adult audience, because what was the rating on it? I can't quite remember. I think it was actually 14A, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might have been. I'll have to go look and see on, I guess Prime is, I think, where I bought the movie, so, yeah, now that it was finally, yeah, it seemed to take forever, like, most movies are, like a couple weeks and you can buy them, but this one was, like, months, it seemed, before I was actually able to buy it, so that seems kind of weird, but anyway, it is what it is, and now that I can actually buy it and continue on watching the movies I need to watch in order to finally, you know, get my newer content out there, it's going to be nice. So this was about a group of, I guess, quote-unquote bad guys, seeing as the movie is called The Bad Guys. And it starts out with two of them in the restaurant talking, and so Wolf and Snake. So let's go over the cast list. I'm just going to spit out this gum because I feel like all you can hear is my chewing. Okay, that's better. So Wolf was played by Sam Rockwell. Snake was played by Mark Maron. Tarantula was played by Aquafina. Shark was played by Craig Robertson, and Piranha was played by Anthony Ramos. Professor Marmalade was played by Richard Ayoade. Ayoade, I want to say is his name. And Diana Foxington, or the Crimson Paw, was played by Zazie Beetz. And then oh, wow, I didn't know that. The police chief, Alex was played by Alex Bornstein. Misty Luggins. That's funny. And I think that was pretty much the main cast, yeah. Oh, who was Tiffany Fluffett? Lily Singh. I'm trying to think of who that character was. Interesting. So this was basically the bad guys trying to pull off one more special heist, and they made it personal, and that's what the mayor said there. Diane Foxington was the one who said that now that they've made it personal, they're definitely going to get caught doing this last job, trying to steal the golden dolphin right under the nose from, oh my god, Professor Marmalade, right. They do almost end up pulling off the job, but I guess Professor Marmalade was one step ahead of them, as we find out later on in the film when we realize that he was the baddest guy of them all, when originally Wolf thinks that he's conning them into making them good in order for them to eventually get the Golden Dolphin at their ceremonial like show to say that Professor Marmalade has turned them into the good guys. And then the heart-shaped meteorite that crashed in their city a year ago is actually stolen, and they've already set up their plan. So Wolf goes against it and ends up giving the Golden Dolphin to Marmalade, and then he steals the meteorite, and then he reveals himself as the actual bad guy, and then they all go to prison for their for the crime because Marmalade sets them up, right? And they kind of ended up setting themselves up with putting "So Long Suckers" on the screen. It was just absolutely hilarious. But yeah, so they weren't able to pull it off at the, I guess, award show for Professor Marmalade in the beginning of the movie, and then they weren't able to pull it off there because by that point, Wolf had decided that he actually did want to be good, and I guess that all of them ended up kind of being good in their own way at the end of the movie anyway. They've kind of completely just changed their ways, even though they're still doing the cons and whatever. I guess they're doing it for the greater good now than, just for their own, for themselves, I should say. So yeah, Snake and all the other guys end up leaving Wolf after the Crimson Paw comes in, who was also Diane Foxington. Find out she's the Crimson Paw and she's done a whole bunch of crimes herself. She almost had the Golden Dolphin, I guess, in her grasp, but she, I guess, couldn't do it in the end, even though she had a perfect escape route, and I guess she just decided that she didn't want to continue a life of crime anymore, even though she'd stolen some sort of diamond. I can't remember the exact name of it, but she'd stolen a diamond, I think twice. Once because she was trying to prove herself, and then I think the second time she did it for fun. So she ended up just wearing the diamond on her hand because she said she was sentimental, so that was kind of funny. And then Marmalade ends up getting his hands on that too. And then he ends up using the power of the meteorite to control all the guinea pigs. I guess that he had the bad guys help him with in the beginning of the movie, in order from being tested on, I think they were at an animal testing facility, I think, and it was just all guinea pigs, and obviously he's a guinea pig, so he's going to want to take them away from there, right? And he's making himself look like the good guy, even though he's actually really the baddest of them all. So he ends up with all of the artifacts. He ends up with the Golden Dolphin, the meteorite, and the diamond, and then at the end of the movie, when he's controlling all the guinea pigs, taking all his money away from all the donations he's giving and trying to get it back. He's using the guinea pigs to drive the trucks because they're under his control, and Snake decides to actually work with him, but during when Marmalade takes the helmet off of himself and gives it to Snake and puts it on him, he actually controls the guinea pigs in order to switch the real meteorite for the lamp that was in the house. And then when Wolf and the rest of the crew, so Shark, Tarantula, and Piranha, think that they're stealing the real meteorite, they're actually stealing the lamp. And then, yeah, what a mess. And then, obviously, Marmalade's plan is foiled, and and then he blows up Marmalade's compound because he overrides the actual meteorite and just goes, and the whole thing just goes boom. So Snake goes the old switcheroo. So he conned Marmalade without Marmalade even knowing. So who was actually the best con artist in the movie? I guess it was Snake after all, because I guess he was the best of them all when it came to the cons, right? So kind of funny. There was so much double crossing in this movie that it was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, luckily the bad guys became the good guys and they were saved, and the right guy went away at the end. And then I think they still had to serve some time in prison, obviously, for their other crime. Yeah, they did, because they gave themselves up to the police chief there. And at the end of the movie, Wolf just says, "Yeah, I know we've done good here, but we've done a lot of other crimes, so put us away for our uh, our other crimes." And then they end up getting out a year later on good behavior anyway. So there you go. Because they really had become the good guys, and then obviously Diane Foxington picks them up at the end of the movie, and they all ride off into the sunset. So I'm kind of thinking there might even be a second movie to this, which would be kind of interesting, because I think that would be kind of cool to see if there was a second movie where Marmalade ends up escaping or something. That would be kind of interesting, and seeing if they end up having to take him on again, because yeah, that would be kind of a cool sequel. Anyway, yeah, one thing I wanted to touch on was obviously the soundtrack in this movie was absolutely excellent, and the way that they broke the fourth wall was, now it's hard to do in live action movies, but I almost feel like it's even more difficult to do in an animated movie. But maybe it's easier. I don't know. Not many movies do it where they break the fourth wall and it feels like they're talking to the audience. But he's kind of like narrating his life story while he's driving away from the cops at the beginning of the movie, talking to you about how he's, being portrayed as the bad guy all the time. But they're bad, but they're really good at it, sort of thing. And then he goes up to the police station and says, "I just wanted a longer police chase," at the beginning of the movie. So that was absolutely hilarious. And they always seem to somehow find a way to get away from the police chief, just within like the nick of time, right? Or using using luck, basically, because he drives down like the biggest flight of stairs I think I've ever seen, to get away the first time. So that was kind of funny. Yeah, so the soundtrack was really good, and the different styles of animation they used throughout the movie, especially, I think I can pinpoint like two parts, especially during the last scene, where they're trying to get all the trucks to turn around from Marmalade. There was a lot of different, even like layers and styles of animation in that scene, and the one scene where the Crimson Paw comes in and reveals herself. Diane Foxington obviously reveals herself as the Crimson Paw and breaks all of them out of prison, in order to stop Marmalade from what he's doing, right? Because I guess she finally realized who was the actual bad guys and who were the good guys, right, in this situation. And Wolf obviously gives back all the stuff that he's stolen. So when the rest of the crew goes there, it's just like, oh my god, they don't have any other stuff left. And yeah, so there was definitely different styles of animation in those two scenes. It almost felt like an anime style in that scene, and you can just see the different styles of animation in some of the scenes, which would have been extremely hard to pull off, I think, because it's all one scene meshed together, right? So the different styles of animation would have been difficult to pull off. And there was one other thing I was going to say. Oh yeah, when we were originally watching this movie in theaters, when I went to see it with my mom and my sister, I kind of figured that maybe she was a con artist too, when she was able to steal the diamond back from Wolf there in the beginning of the movie, when she said a fox and a wolf aren't that different. I was like, she's gonna be important, or she's gonna be a con artist too, and she's gonna somehow maybe figure out what's going on. Kind of had a feeling about her when I first watched this movie. So yeah, but I'm glad I gave it a second watch, because there were certain things that I definitely missed the first time around. So what else? I don't think there's much else I can touch on, really. There was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it was now. Soundtrack, styles of animation, yeah, I went over that. The fact that I kind of had a feeling about Diane Foxington. Oh, I guess besides that would be my rating. So I did give this movie an 8 out of 10, and I'm going to stand by that, because that's obviously what I gave it way back when I first watched the movie. So I do stand by that, and this kind of had a very surprising cast to me, actually. Because, yeah, a lot of these actors I know. And I guess Lily Singh is more of a, is she really an actress? Like, has she been in a whole bunch of other stuff? I know she was like a huge, like, YouTube star. Well, I guess she has been in a bit of stuff. Okay. I don't know if she's had like huge roles, but yeah, I don't even remember who Tiffany Fluffett was in this movie. So I can't really say she had a big role in this movie either. Interesting. But anyway, yeah, it was kind of interesting to see how Marmalade conned them. I guess that may have been the other thing that I was going to go over. So he dressed up as an old lady in order to get Wolf to help him. And then he called Wolf a good boy when he was at the door in order to make him start to feel like, I guess, like the sensation of being good or whatever. And then he knew that, I guess, Wolf would probably excel already feeling that way when they took him to the compound. And Wolf is the one that ends up saving the cat from the tree and all these other sorts of things, so it was kind of funny. And then when he conned them at their like ceremonial show there to say that Marmalade had turned them into the good guys, it was just like a huge, yeah, a huge shock to them when when Marmalade ended up being the bad guys. But yeah, so 8 out of 10 for this movie. I'm gonna stand by that because that's what I again said that I rated it originally. So I guess that's it for this review, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.